her about her hair. And being a little girl, she tried to go to the bathroom and fix her hair, but nothing was really wrong with her hair. So my sister being a psychologist and me being an educator, after hearing how the story unfolded at school, we just felt like it could have been handled better because it was a missed opportunity. And I said, well, you know what? How many resources or tools are even out there for the administrator to have handled it differently, or the teacher, or even the students, or even the parents of the students? So this is what brought the book about, the real essence of the book, creating an avenue, a tool, a resource, a reference that people can use to be the founding building block for establishing how naturally beautiful and wonderful we are. And you know, black hair is a big thing. Yes. It's a big thing. So yes, it is. Approaching it in a ginger way, but an affectionate way, and setting the standard of how we want to guide the discussion.
And I think it's also so wonderful that for a long time, we thought we didn't have beautiful hair. For a long time, unless our hair was straight and stringy and shiny and blonde, it wasn't quote unquote good hair. This book, which is one of my favorites too, is about how to feel good being in your own skin. It's what God gave me. I want to celebrate who I am. And I think if we all look on this stage, in each part of the book, we could be Nyla. And the other thing is, I think we need to tell children it's all right to be who you are. And that's wonderful. Lisa, I want to ask you a question. How, you told us a little bit about how you, a story in your book, but how did you decide on the title, Missed Opportunities?
Oh, that's easy. Back in a conversation with my girlfriend, I kept repeating it. I said, you missed the opportunity. You missed the opportunity. And I had it written down in a journal. Wow. I journal a lot, every day I journal. And I had it written down in a journal. And every journal that I fill up, I took that title with me, Missed Opportunities. Then I start, you know how you buy a car and you never notice a car until you buy it and you see it on the road? Well, that happened. I started looking and I started seeing all these missed opportunities, and I started capitalizing on them, and I tried to capture them in the book.
Excellent. I think you did a good job, too.
Thank you.
The woulda, shoulda, coulda, hadda.
But then we also have to realize there's someone else who guides our opportunities. And he says we have a journey and a path laid out for us.
That's what's so inspiring about the title, the missed opportunities. A lot of times you don't realize that you have missed so many opportunities. So I would encourage a lot of women to read both books, but a missed opportunity is something you have to try to get back. And in this book, she's saying you missed it, but you still can get that back.
Reinvent, maybe. Reinvent an opportunity.
Well, you just wait for the other opportunity to come along.
Yep.
Because you might have missed it, but the next person didn't. Somebody's going to capture it and run with it.
Good stuff.
Yes.
And maybe sometimes that opportunity wasn't necessarily made for you to take part in, but just to open your eyes to other opportunities.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
I know a little bit about Nyla's weather hair, and I would like you to tell everybody who's watching us, number one, how you came up with the name Nyla, and number two, the very interesting cover of your book and how it was created.
It's funny. I journal as well, and I had been meditating on the premise for the book, but no lie, it was actually a dream. I heard the name Nyla, And it was astonishing when I looked up the meaning of the name Nyla. I was blown away, like, this is it. I'm really supposed to do this. This was confirmation. Nyla means winner in Arabic. And it also means, well, I'll take this opportunity to just express it. We might need to stick with just winner. But the other definition was achiever of one's goals. So with the cover, I changed the cover a couple of times, but one thing that I kept was her face. I think it's important for us to see us, others to see us. So since the book also talks about the weather, and that's intentional as well, the cover actually is a misting off of the clouds. So as you read further into the book, you'll find more opportunities to talk about the weather and the natural everyday phenomenon that we need to acknowledge and make connections to ourselves with. But my brother collaborated, thank you, Wayne, but in this case, I really enjoyed self-publishing because I was the author. I was the owner of the image and what I wanted to see. And it's beautiful to see people connect when they see the front cover, so.
Can I add something to that?
Sure can.
I read her book. I bought several of them. I got about another one tonight. But the illustrations are amazing. Absolutely amazing. I'm like, who did your illustrations? I did. I'm like, what? This girl got skills we don't even know about.
You know what? Piggybacking off of her title, tying it in, the missed opportunities, I had no idea that I could do that. We did dabble with different little things in your talents and your gifts, but there were times where I just sat and I stared at the paper, and I prayed until I saw what I needed to see, and then I did it. But it was hours with X-Acto knives and glue sticks and scraps of paper, hours upon hours, and it was my therapy. It was my therapy. I was recovering from the death of my father, and this was therapeutic for me. And so that's how I spent my time.
It's so amazing because one afternoon, before COVID, I stopped by her house and said, surprise, I'm here. Can we have a little chat? She said, sure, I'm just messing around with this cover for my book. And if there were 1,000 pieces of paper, there had to be 3. Because they were cut out piece by piece. And then the shape of her eyes should her eyes look like this? Or should her eyes look like this? And you know what? The cover you picked, her eyes are perfect because it looks like they're searching for something to make her feel better.
If I could just say, when I read Nyla, it was like I was in the book. When Nyla mom was washing her hair, making it look like snow, it was like I could hear you. And at the same time, it was like it captured me. So it's really good book, and our viewers, you can order a book on her website, but it's a really exciting book, and I brought all my granddaughters one, and she signed it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lisa, when I look at some of the titles in your chapters, they're amazing because they are all positive. They aren't titles that would make you think, oh my God, here I am. It makes you feel like, wow, I didn't know I had that much power. Or wow, I never thought about it that way. It's like a book of almost internally networking yourself. And how can I make more of me by knowing me and other people? So what do you think is your favorite part of the book?
Oh, the whole book. But let me put something. naysayers. Step-siding the naysayers. And I say that because we have a tendency to gauge our not so much our wealth, but our value by what other people say.
Good word, good
Yeah,
word.
by what other people say. And when you become to the point that let me put it this way. I got to the point in my life, about 20 years ago, I developed a bad case of I don't care. And not in a bad way, but I don't care what you say. I care about what God says about me and what I can do and what I can have. And I start laying heavy on the promises of God for me and my family. So that's why I start step-siding the people that didn't want to go anywhere, that didn't want to read a book, that don't want to explore what the other side of the world looks like. They just want to stay in that box. I don't have a box. It's a whole big world out there, and I intend to get as much of it as I can.
And I know you, Lisa, you'll take on the universe.
Oh yeah, if it's possible, I'm doing it. But that was my thing, because that was me. I was listening to what everybody else said and going by what they say. I said, I had to stop that because my daughter's watching me. You know, and your kids don't do what they say, what you say. They do what you show them. So I had to show her confidence. I had to show her strength. I had to show her integrity. And that's what I try to put out, not just for her, but all the women that I come in contact with. Because we're all beautiful. I don't care what level skin color you are. I don't care what weight you are. I don't care how much money you have. That's nothing. You can always get money. But my sisters are my queens. They're my queen sisters.
Amen.
And I care about them, and I care about their confidence. And that's what I do. I try to empower other young women, young girls, middle-aged girls, women, older women even. I try to empower them and let them know, you're plenty, you're enough, go for it. Whatever it is that's in God's will for you, don't wait, just go for it. Life is too short.
Can I add to that? Of course. The book is phenomenal. There's so many nuggets of truth. Every time you go back, you can go back with a highlighter and say, I'm gonna work on this. Okay, I'm gonna tell this to someone. And I would say I wouldn't limit it to children, I wouldn't limit it to women, I wouldn't limit it to men. Anybody could read this book and have lots of takeaways. So thank you, Lisa.
Thank you as well.
Working with the women in the women ministry, myself and Lady Duncans, this book can really inspire a lot of women. And what you just said about don't worry about what people say about you. A lot of times we do worry about things that people say about us, and that's why I thank you for encouraging us tonight and our viewers to let our viewers know, don't worry about your haters. Don't worry about what people say about you, because God brings us out in His time. And Dr. Lisa and Pastor Makima both have been in Shiloh for over 20 years. We are so happy to have you guys and so inspired by your writings that it's encouraging us, because I always tell Sister Duncan, write your book. Now, missed opportunities. And you viewers out there, don't miss your opportunity. Like the book says, missed opportunities. Don't miss getting a book about Nyla, about the weather hair, which is the different steps in life you go through. You are going to go through changes in life, but don't give up. And with saying that, that brings us to what, Pastor Makima, was your favorite part in the progress in writing your book?
The end.
And drop the mic.
Absolutely.
Yes. And for most people, I tell people all the time, you've got 1 billion stories in you. You got 10 stories on you, 5 stories in you. The hardest part of the process is starting and finishing. And then what do you do with the work? What do you do with the work when you finish it? And we've all shared. People need to hear it. It goes beyond us. Yes, we needed to do it. We needed to get it out, but not just for you. Someone else can benefit from it. So for me, the best part of the writing process is completion. Yep, it's gratifying. It's like, yes, let's start on the next thing.
And speaking of the next things, will we be seeing any more books in your future, Dr. Coney?
Absolutely. I'm working on one now. And I haven't really gotten the title yet. I got one in my head. But I was talking to one of my cousins, and we were talking about, you know, I do a lot of things that my grandma used to do that taught me. And I can, if anybody know what canning is, it's preserving food in the glass jars, and you know, your water boiling so you can, the top can seal and you can keep it, you know.
For years.
For years, at least 2 years, at least 2 years. So I'm putting together a class now because I have about 25 people that would like to learn how. I'm just trying to locate a commercial kitchen. If anybody out there can help me out, I need a commercial kitchen. So, and I've already bought a lot of the materials. I still have a few to purchase, but I want to put something out there like survival for us. And my career is nursing, and I put together a packet even for my kids when we came down to the COVID. And I did a lot of research on what we can do to build up our immune system. And
Very good.
so I made, my daughter calls it the medicine cabinet. I just mailed them 2 medicine cabinets last week. But it worked for my daughter when she was in college, you know, try to build up her system. I look for foods, natural foods that we can eat and not have to take a bunch. I hate medication. I hate synthetic medications. So I look for other things that will work, things that are natural, that we don't have, because the side effects will kill you. Let me tell you. The side effects will, sometimes you just rather deal with the disease and leave the side effects alone. But those are the things I want to get into now, to teaching other people. How do you build up an immune system? What works for you? Now, I'm not saying this is what you take, this is what you take. What you do, if I present it to you, you can always go to your pharmacist and say, if you take medication, will this interfere or interact with my medication?
That's good advice, Lisa. Even over-the-counter drugs,
Yes.
sometimes we think they're not as strong as a prescription drug, but the drug doesn't have to be strong to have an interaction with another drug.
Right.
So I think that's very good advice, and I just want you to know I'm eating more pineapple.
Are you getting a 30-minute workout in?
Well, that's
Okay.
not quite yet.
Okay. All right, it's coming.
It's coming. And Minister Makima, a little nugget here about Minister Makima. I felt amazed with her when I first met her. She literally was 18 years old and worked for a nonprofit. And when she walked in the room, I said, oh my God, that's me. The way she fidgeted around and the way she talked really fast and moved really fast, I said, I have a mini me for real. And we often laugh about that. And with Lisa, how far back do we go, Lisa?
We go back to BOSS days. BOSS is an acronym for Blacks on the South Side. And for those that don't know, Pastor Duncan's and Lady Duncan's were my first employers. Yes, we go back that far. And it's been an amazing journey, and I still got a long ways to go. But trust me, I'm working on it. I am working on it. Yes, we go way back. When I say they're my spiritual parents, they really are. Absolutely, they really are. And I am grateful. My gratitude goes so far beyond what they can even comprehend that they have done for me, my family, and not just my immediate family, my church family. I have a family here. You know, you have your work family, your church family, your exercise family, but you know, this is home for me. That's where it is.
There's something I was supposed to say that I didn't say during this little interview, that we'll also take questions from the viewers. So if you have any questions, please go to our website to our Facebook page and tap in a comment. Minister Cynthia, what are some of your plans for your future, even though you're not a writer yet?
Well, some of my plans for my future, some may not know, I retired July the 1st.
Congratulations.
After 35 years and 8 months on my job. And I'm not a writer, but I do journal a lot. And I've always wanted to write a book. I just told my husband that like 2 months ago. What do I need to do to start? So I went in the office. Then I called Pastor McKeema's brother Wayne to ask him, could he help me with some cartoon characters? And now with these two ladies coming out with their books, and Lisa, Dr. Lisa, you really shocked me. I know you had it in you, but I've always looked up to you as a young girl because you were in nursing school and you were taking care of your children and you were coming to church. And I always admired you when we were growing up in Bristol. So I guess I'll be coming to you ladies to try to put this book together, since I wasn't expecting to be asked, but I'm glad that I was asked, because we do miss a lot of opportunities, and we do need our sisters, as one of the leaders in the women ministry, we need to encourage each other, and these ladies are definitely encouraging us. So if we have anyone out there that would like help with putting a book together, because we know you have it in you, all you have to do is try to get in contact with one of these ladies, and they'll help us write our book. So that's one of the things, Lady Marcia, that I would like to do.
That's amazing. I do believe I already knew that, since you kept telling me to write my book. I have not, as of yet, had a book in me. I've had snippets of things that I could write and could say. But right now, my interest is in who are we? Who am I? What do I belong to? Who do I belong to? And where did they come from? And what was it like when they were alive? They're the kind of things that I would like to do. I would like to say, before this was this, it was a smaller church. And before that church, it was just a cellar church. And before that church, it was at the peak of the moon, which is in Port Norris. So maybe one day I will write, where do I go from here? Sounds like a good title, huh?
And this is the thing, and I'm glad both of you said what you said, because now we're going to hold you accountable for what you said. You need to have someone that keeps you accountable so you can follow through, because no one knows the time or the hour. We could be out here like that, so we've got to use our time wisely.
Thank you.
I guess I'm saying thank you. I hope I didn't put my foot in my mouth.
It's funny because when we went to Pastor McKeema, I was going to say Dr. McKeema.
Hey.
Yeah.
That's able.
When we went to her book signing, all of us ladies was there, and I was telling her that I wanted her to help me, but what I like about her is in her process, she's letting me know, you're gonna do this, and I'm not gonna work with you unless you're gonna stick to it. So, I'll have to stick to it.
Maybe we'll have to have a book writing class.
Yes,
Or a poetry class.
yes.
Or an artist class, which is something we did at our summer camp. We did some artwork and things like that. We can't leave out the arts because God created a masterpiece called Eden, and he chose all of us to live in it. And he says because we live here in this Eden, now I'm not talking about the garden, you know, I'm talking about the world of Eden, then it's up to us to make it as perfect as possible. And in order to make it perfect as possible, we have to know who we are, where we came from, and what to do. And if we pray hard, stay in school, do our social responsibilities, rear our children to the best of our ability, then we will add goodness to this Eden of the world and take away some of that blight.
Absolutely, I agree.
Instead of having graffiti, we need to have let's read it or something like that. I know that's corny, but I'm just saying, take away the tablet. No, don't take the tablet away. Have everybody on the same page on the tablet, including moms and dads, and read aloud together. Because once you have knowledge, no one can ever take it away. And I believe this should be about the end of our interview, except can we ask the cost of the books?
My book is $20. You can go on my website, www.missed-opportunities.com, or you can go on Amazon and look up Missed Opportunities. You can also order on Amazon. And if you see me in town, I'll always have a few with me.
You can go to my website. It is www.mudpiequeens.com. You can order the book there. The book is $11.99 with tax, etc. Depends on where you live. I wanted to keep the book reasonable so every family, every child could manage it. So if you see me, like Lisa said, if you see me at any of our events, I'd be happy to sign it and make sure you have it. The first book, Mud Pie Queens, Devotions for Women for Every Phase of Life, you can buy on Kindle, and that's bottom dollar price right now. That might even be $4.99. Again, my goal was to make sure it was affordable for everyone. It's for a limited time. So I would encourage you to get these books and add them to your book collection.
Okay, I think we have a question.
So, Dr. Fonville, can you speak on changing your circle?
Absolutely. Let me see where I start. This is a good one.
This is a good one. All of us gonna turn and listen to this.
Okay, your circle. Let me just say, number one, if you're the smartest person in your circle, you need to level up. You need somebody in your circle that knows more than you. Because if you're the smartest person in your circle, you have nowhere else to go. If you have people in your circle that knows something different than you, that knows more than you, then you have the opportunity to learn more. Now, your circle, you may have somebody that don't know as much as you, then you want to help bring them up. And whatever resources you can help provide, because you can't teach everybody, but you can offer resources to those people to help them level up. But you will constantly, as you grow in life, you will constantly change your circle. Because you don't have to knock people off. They will fall off as you grow. They will just fall off. And it don't have to be a bad fall. It's just that everybody can't go where you're going. Because as you grow, your mindset begins to change.
Yes.
And you want more, and you learn more. And your resources become almost unlimited. And when you start, the more you grow, the more you're going to want to grow. You need to get around those people that are doing the same thing and have this, basically the same mindset. I want to go forward and up. Anywhere else, just cross it off.
I need that to anything else to be a missed opportunity. Do we have another question from our audience? Oh, thank you very much. We don't.
I hope
have
I
any more.
answered that.
We have about 5 minutes to go.
The other thing was, what has been the response of your books?
Very good, Minister Brown.
The beauty of the book is there's so many different ways to approach it. I intentionally made sure that it would appeal to different audiences, different settings, different scenarios, supposed to encourage critical thinking. So the response has been so receptive, and I'm loving the diversity that I'm getting from my audience. Immediately connecting, either because it's a way to incorporate science, critical thinking, it's a way to incorporate bullying or self-esteem. So I've had nothing but good responses. And again, like I said, the book can be used in so many ways that it's just, it's not even just for girls. It's family oriented. It does have a situation with a little boy in it. So in preparing for the book, I used my niece and nephew to critique me as well. So again, from the youngest to the oldest, it's been rich, welcoming, and connected.
Dr. Fonville?
Well, let me just say this. When I look to do something and I look to do it great, I look for people who have already done it and has been successful at it. And when I first started, when I wrote my book, I needed somebody to forward for me. So I looked to somebody who's done it and who has successfully done it and done it well. I looked to my sister. I did I not? I looked to my sister.
Network.
So she wrote my foreword in the book. Unbelievable. I'm like, is that me? I did ask people to, when they bought the book and they read the book, to please leave me a review on Amazon.
Okay.
The reviews speak for themselves. I can't take credit for it, even though I wrote the book. That book came from my heart.
Amen.
That book came out of hours of 3 o'clock in the mornings, can't sleep, insomnia. I do that often. And my audience is women, but this book is not just for women. And I asked them, even if you don't like the book, let me know that. But just tell me why you don't like it. Because there's always room for improvement. When I do my next book, maybe they say the writing was too small, or the print was too small, or it was too short of a book, or it was too long, whatever. Be very transparent with me. I got tough skin on, I can take it. Because I always want to grow. I always want to do better. So my next book, I expect to be better than this one.
Yes.
But the responses, let me just say, I've ordered over 500 books. I'm almost sold out.
Wow.
That's just the books I ordered. Amazon is doing the whole thing. But I've ordered over 500 books. Another shipment of 64 just came in this morning.
Fantastic.
I thank God.
Fantastic.
I thank God. He has blessed me in that way.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of our Let's Talk series on book reviews. I want to thank Dr. Lisa Coney Fonville
Thank you.
and Minister Makima Edwards and Minister Cynthia Brown. They know how I am with names. You know, I'm fighting off the urgency to call them a nickname. But to you out there in the audience, take time to read a book to a child, because you never know who he or she will become. To God be the glory. Tune in next time for Let's Talk Shiloh Baptist Church.